Imagine this. Two people fall in love. They laugh together, they dream together, they promise each other forever. They walk down the aisle, say, "I do," and believe that nothing will ever come between them. But fast forward a few years, and suddenly the home that once echoed with laughter now echoes with silence. Arguments replace affection, distance replaces closeness, and the word divorce, that word you swore would never belong to your love story, starts creeping in. Painful, isn't it? But here's the shocking truth. Divorce rarely happens because of one single blow-up or betrayal. It happens slowly, quietly, like a plant that isn't watered. It happens when the little things, the words we don't say, the hugs we don't give, the compliments we forget, the questions we don't ask, pile up until love suffocates. And that's exactly why I made this video, because if you can understand the psychology behind why marriages collapse, you can save yours before it's too late. Today, we're diving deep into the science of relationships. We're going to break down 4 powerful factors, proven by psychology, researched by the world-famous Gottman Institute, and explained by people like Sadia Khan, who blends female psychology with modern relationship wisdom. These 4 factors alone can literally predict whether your relationship thrives or ends in divorce. So if you want to know how to protect your marriage, how to reignite your connection, and how to stop the slow drift towards separation, stay with me. What you learn today might just save your relationship. Why relationships really fall apart. Before we jump into the solutions, let's get real about why couples break up in the first place. A lot of people think divorces happen because of huge things: cheating, lying, betrayal, money problems. And yes, those can play a role. But psychologists have found that most divorces don't start with something that dramatic. They start small. Think of your relationship like a boat. It doesn't sink because of one giant hole. Most of the time, it sinks because of tiny leaks that go unnoticed. A snappy comment here, a dismissive gesture there, an ignored message, a forgotten hug. Over time, these little things add up until the boat is full of water and can't stay afloat. Sadia Khan often says, "Love is not enough. Every relationship requires skills." And she's right, because we've been told that if you love someone, everything else will magically work out. But love is just the foundation. If you don't know how to build on that foundation with the right habits, psychology, and mindset, the house will eventually collapse. Now let's talk about those 4 critical skills, the 4 factors that separate couples who last from couples who divorce. Factor 1, compliments over criticism. Here's the first one. Couples who survive compliment more than they criticize. Sounds simple, right? But let's dig into why this is so powerful. At the Gottman Institute, researchers studied thousands of couples for decades. They discovered something shocking. They could predict divorce with over 90% accuracy by simply watching how couples talk to each other. One of the strongest predictors? The ratio of compliments to criticism. Couples that thrive have at least a 5-to-1 ratio. That means for every 1 negative thing said, there are at least 5 positive things. On the flip side, couples that constantly criticize eventually tear each other down until nothing is left. Now, let's make this practical. Compliments don't have to be cheesy or over the top. They can be as simple as, "Thanks for making the coffee this morning." "I really like how you handled that situation." "You look nice today." These small affirmations are like oxygen for a relationship. They don't just make your partner feel good, they build emotional safety. But criticism does the opposite. And here's where psychology comes in. When you constantly criticize your partner, their brain begins to associate you with danger instead of love. Instead of seeing you as their safe place, they see you as the person who tears them down. Over time, resentment builds, walls go up, and connection fades. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple came to therapy after 10 years of marriage, on the brink of divorce. The wife said, "He never notices me." The husband fired back, "She's always nagging." When the therapist asked them to recall their last week, it was filled with criticisms. Why are you always late? You never do it right. You're so careless. Not once in 7 days had they complimented each other. Not once. When they started practicing daily compliments, even small ones, the energy in their home shifted. Within weeks, they began smiling at each other again. Why? Because the human brain is wired to respond to praise. Hook for the viewer. Ask yourself this. In the past 24 hours, did you compliment your partner more than you criticized them? If the answer is no, you already know where to start. Factor 2. Building deep love maps. The second factor is what psychologists call love maps. Think of a love map as the GPS to your partner's inner world. It's not just knowing their favorite food or color. It's knowing their dreams, fears, struggles, and hopes. It's knowing what makes them light up and what keeps them awake at night. Couples that thrive have constantly updated love maps. They don't just ask, "What time are you coming home?" They ask, "How's work really making you feel?" They don't just say, "Did you pay the bill?" They say, "What are you excited about this month?" Why does this matter? Because humans crave to be understood. When you deeply know your partner, you make them feel seen. And when someone feels truly seen, they bond with you at the deepest level. Here's a quick example. Imagine a wife who's quietly stressed about her job. She comes home tired every day. If her husband doesn't notice, doesn't ask, doesn't stay curious, she feels invisible. But if he asks, "I noticed you've been exhausted lately. What's been going on at work?" Instantly, she feels cared for. Hook for the viewer. When was the last time you asked your partner a question that went deeper than the surface? If you can't remember, it's time to start. Factor 3. Accepting influence. Now let's talk about the third factor, and this one is a relationship killer if you miss it. It's called accepting influence. Here's the truth. Stubbornness is the silent poison in relationships. Couples that collapse are often locked in a power struggle. They treat every request from their partner as a challenge. Don't tell me what to do. Why should I listen? They resist influence even when it's about something small. But couples who last, they're flexible. They understand that love is not about winning battles. It's about protecting the bond. Here's what accepting influence looks like. If your partner asks you not to text while driving, you stop. If they ask for a quick message when you'll be late, you send it. If they ask you to attend a family dinner, you consider it instead of resisting. It doesn't mean you lose yourself. It means you value the relationship enough to compromise. Hook for the viewer. Ask yourself this. Are you treating your relationship like a battlefield or like a partnership? Because one destroys love and the other strengthens it. Factor 4. Responding to bids for affection. Now let's talk about the most underestimated factor, bids for affection. A bid is any attempt your partner makes to connect with you. It could be small, like, "Look at this funny video," or big, like, "I really need to talk." Couples who thrive respond to bids. They turn toward each other. They show interest. Even if they're busy, they acknowledge the bid. Couples who fail, they ignore bids. They scroll on their phone when their partner speaks. They shrug off small requests. They say, "Not now," too many times. Here's the scary statistic. Couples who reject bids for affection have an 80% chance of divorce. Hook for the viewer. Every time your partner tries to connect with you, it's a test. Pass enough of those tests, and your marriage survives. Fail too many, and the relationship dies. Pulling it all together. So here are the 4 walls that hold up the house of love. Compliments over criticism, building deep love maps, accepting influence, responding to bids for affection. Individually, they matter, but together they form an unshakable foundation. Ignore them, and the foundation cracks. Sadia's perspective and female psychology. Now let's connect this to Sadia's work and female psychology. Sadia often says that women are wired to pick up on emotional cues. They notice tone, body language, and the little things men often dismiss. That means these 4 factors hit women even harder. A woman who gets constant criticism instead of compliments feels emotionally unsafe. A woman whose love map is ignored feels invisible. A woman whose influence is rejected feels disrespected. A woman whose bids for affection are ignored feels unloved. But when you flip these around, she feels deeply cherished. She feels seen, heard, valued, and respected. And once a woman feels that way, she will fight for the relationship with everything she has. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, do 4 things. Give your partner 3 compliments, genuine ones. Ask one deep question that goes beyond the surface. Accept one small request without resistance. And respond warmly to every bid for connection, no matter how small. Do this for 1 week, just 7 days, and watch how the energy shifts. Watch how love